Hi there, it's Jodi. I wanted to show you today how to make this quick and creative Christmas card. I made it and I posted it on Facebook and I've been getting lots of great comments, and I did it with my card club ladies yesterday and they all enjoyed it too. So I want to show you how to make this, and I thought I would point out quick some of the products that I'm using. So the card base was Mossy Meadow, and then I've got some cherry cobbler in there. I used, which pattern is it? Must be this pattern right here of the designer paper that's got both the Mossy Meadow and cherry cobbler. And then the stamp set is actually this one here. It's called Timeless Tidings, and it coordinates with this project kit. So this set was specifically designed to make these cards, but I just wanted to show that you can use that set for any Christmas cards that you wanted to make. So let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully I remembered all the supplies I need. I think I'm going to do this first. Okay, so this is a layer of Mossy Meadow, and what I want to do with this is just take it and spritz it a little bit with water. So this is just a real gentle spritz with water. The reason that I'm doing that is because I want to emboss it with the corrugated embossing folder, and it's one of those thicker ones here, so it gives a great deep impression, but almost to the point where the cardstock can like actually crack apart. So I've found that spritzing it just the littlest bit like that before I run it through really helps. So with that thick pad, I'm only using, a thick folder rather, I'm only using one cutting pad right across the top. And then I can just kind of slide this right off of the folder. And you can see that it's still wet. You know, you still see those watermarks, but we'll just leave this to dry for a little bit and we'll be able to attach it in just a moment. So let me set the Big Shot out of my way here, and we'll go ahead and do some stamping. So this piece of Very Vanilla is 2 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches, and I'm going to grab the tree. I'll grab Merry Christmas while I'm in here, and one of the greetings for the inside. Oh, I already remembered something I forgot. A piece of vanilla for the inside of the card, but we'll improvise with that. Okay, so Mossy Meadow ink, and what I want to do with this is create a look on here as though I have 2 different colors of ink. So I'm going to gently tap this on the ink pad, and then I'm going to stamp it once, and then go up a little bit and do it twice. So I'm overlapping intentionally because I can see right through my block. It makes it really easy. And it doesn't matter if these are perfectly lined up here or here. You just want to, you know, have a little bit of depth by going up and down with that. Now I want to add one more over here, so I'm going to ink it up, stamp off, and then just add one more that goes off the edge like that. So that gives me the trees. Not only do I have depth because I went back a little bit, but by stamping 2 times and having less ink on the stamp, that almost looks a little bit like Old Olive. So it's just the full strength of Mossy Meadow, and then that is with like one image stamped off, just like I did. So that's just a fun little thing to do when you want to give that illusion that you actually have 2 different colors of ink going on. So I'm going to, I'll set that aside and clean it later. I'm going to attach this using my snail adhesive. Just do a little bit in each corner and some in the middle. This piece of cherry cobbler then is 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And then this little piece is, what did I end up doing? 5/8 of an inch by 4 inches. You're going to overlap some, so it's not, you know, if you didn't want to overlap at all, just do it a 1/2 inch. Any way you do it is just fine. So I'm putting that along the bottom, and then I'm going to stamp on this piece, and this one is 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And I'll grab a block for this Merry Christmas. And this one is cherry cobbler ink. And I'm going to intentionally do it just a little bit to the right of center. So if I did it here, it would be center. I'm just going to scoot it a little bit that way. What I would do on the card base here, while I have my cherry cobbler ink out, would be to layer this card base with a piece of vanilla and stamp this greeting. It says, "May the warmth of Christmas fill each corner of your heart and home." And there's actually a few different sentiments for the inside of the card in that set. So I will have to add that in later once I go and grab some more Very Vanilla. So this, I'm going to do the same thing, put snail on the back. And this, I'm going to, like I said, just overlap that designer paper a little bit, cover up the bottoms of some of those trees. I like to set things down this way sometimes if I want to rub really hard. Just to, I mean, our ink dries so quickly, but just to make sure that I don't mess anything up. Okay, this looks pretty good to go. So I think we're ready to attach this. What I like to do, because this is so textured, what I'm going to do is put my adhesive around the entire perimeter of the card base. Normally I do not do this because you don't want to get too close to the edge and have your adhesive sticking out there. But it's much easier in this case to put it on here and set this down into it rather than get your adhesive kind of stuck in these grooves. So I will set it down here and just kind of push it over and stick it down. Again, you could do that same thing I did before where you set it upside down and give it some good pressure. Okay, Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put a few of those on the back of this layer. And we'll pop that up. I tend to use dimensionals also a lot when I have a thick embossing folder layer, because it just helps it to adhere more securely. So this, make sure I've got it opening correctly. We'll just go there in the middle. And then this is the new, it's called Braided Linen Trim, and this is from the holiday catalog as well. I've been using this a lot on fall cards, on Christmas cards. So I just cut a piece. Usually I leave it on the spool and just tie right from the spool, but this little piece was cut off, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. So I'll just make the loop and tie it around like this to make a bow. Get it just how I want it. Okay, so I'm going to trim the ends just a little bit. And with this, you can leave the ends, you know, just a straight cut like that. You can also just take your fingernail and break that apart a little bit so the braids actually come apart just a little. And then I'll go ahead and grab a glue dot. When I use the glue dots, I always leave this covering. You see that last one right there? I always leave the paper covering the last glue dot so that when I stick it in the box, it doesn't actually stick to the box itself. So I'm just gonna uncover that, put this right down on here so I don't have to touch it and get it stuck on my fingernail. And then I'll just go ahead and add this right over here. So there you go, a very quick and creative Christmas card. I love this Timeless Tidings. I love the project kit, but I like the stamp set just as much to do my own thing with. There's some fun images on there, some great greetings for the front and the inside of the card. Thanks so much for watching.